This is KPW with This Week in BC Minor League Sports, and you're listening to CJSF 90.1 FM, online at www.cjsf.ca. We're broadcasting from Simon Fraser University in Burnaby, British Columbia. During this program today, we'll recap some baseball action from the Northwest League as well as the BC Premier League. Lots of headlines in the professional leagues, including the NFL beginning its preseason, so that's already gone underway, and also Major League Baseball having its exciting pennant races in all divisions. But of course, this is a show about amateur and minor league sports such as midget hockey or amateur baseball. So I'm not going to be covering any action or headlines from the pros. And besides, if you were interested in getting information about these other leagues, you wouldn't be coming to this station. So just going to be talking about the Northwest League as well as the BC Premier League and covering some of the baseball action from those two circuits. Now, first of all, I'd like to say congratulations to the Langley Blaze, as they are the champions of the 2014 BC Premier Baseball League. And it actually was an exciting finish to the championship round. What happened was they had this round robin tournament beginning last Friday, and all the 5 teams that participated in the round robin played 4 games each, and one team would advance to the championship game, while the others would just have to play like a playoff to get to the final game. So what happened was on Sunday, the second last day of the entire tournament, it was Langley first baseman Dakota Curry, who was a big hero as he hit a 2-run home run to end that game against the Victoria Mariners. So the game was tied 2-2 in the bottom half of the 8th inning with a runner on base, and Curry proceeded to hit a game-winning 2-run home run to finish that game 4-2, sending Langley on to the championship game on Monday. Now, again, had this Victoria Langley game gone the other ways, so if Victoria had won that game, then all 5 teams in the round robin would have finished with identical 2-2 records. That would be 2 wins and 2 losses. But that did not happen. Victoria fell to Langley, and the Blaze advanced to the championship game by finishing ahead of everybody else. And then on Monday, it was the North Shore Twins who had to play a series of games to try and win the championship. What happened was the Twins from North Shore, they defeated the Wally Chiefs 9-5 in an early morning game on Monday morning, and they actually had to come back from a 5-1 deficit. North Shore did, coming back from a 5-1 deficit to beat Wally 9-5, and then they defeated the Vancouver Cannons 3-2 later on in the day to reach the championship final. And the North Shore Twins then played their 3rd game of the day on Monday, and that was the championship final between North Shore and the Langley Blaze. So quite a feat actually as well for North Shore, because they just had to play 3 games in the same day to try and win the whole thing. Actually, North Shore was 3 outs away from claiming the championship, believe it or not. They led 3-2 going into the bottom half of the 9th inning in a championship game against Langley. But Blaze center fielder Mason Verge singled to begin the inning and then stole second base. Kyle McComb laid down a perfect bunt for a single, so there are suddenly 2 runners on base with nobody out. A sacrifice bunt and a walk loaded the bases with 1 out, and it was up to Dakota Curry, the Langley first baseman, to be the hero. And again, the day before, Curry had hit a 2-run home run to send Langley into the championship game, and now this time bases loaded, bottom of the 9th inning, his team down 3-2, and Dakota Curry, the first baseman, had a chance to win the championship, and that's exactly what he did. He delivered a 2-run double to end the game 4-3 for Langley. So congratulations to the Langley Blaze for winning the 2014 championship.
There's a hit from Curry. That's going to be fair. Fair. That should be the ball game, folks. 1 run scores, 2 score. The Blaze Clear the bench. Here's the celebration. My, oh my. As the Blaze celebrate, I want to take this opportunity to huge thank you to Ted Hortzak. Thank you so much for joining us up in the booth, making my life a heck of a lot easier.
You're welcome. And Dakota Curry, what can you say? He's going to have a really great memory here.
Absolutely.
A walk-off home run or walk-off double.
So I'm sure you're busy, Ted. We'll let you get going.
Thank you.
Ted Hortzak, I'm sure we'll be seeing him shortly down on the field. Wow. See the replay. Ball falls fair. What do you do if you're the Twins? Heartbreak. One half of the crowd stunned. The other can't stop cheering. Wow. Dakota Curry. My goodness. Can you say clutch? Last night, he ended the Victoria Mariners season, handing them 5th place and sending them home. And here he is today. Wow. Absolutely wow. I'm at a loss for words. Langley Blaze, 2014 BC PBL champions. You see it on your screen, ladies and gentlemen. That'll do it.
And that was obviously the play-by-play of the final game with Dakota Curry again playing hero for the Langley Blaze. And of course, that was a televised broadcast that I just played. So they were just describing the play, all the action in front of the television audience, of course. And again, congratulations to Langley for pulling out the victory. Now on to Northwest League action. The League held its second annual All-Star game with the event taking place this year in Eugene. Now, as of the All-Star break, the Everett Aquasox led the North Division with a record of 7 wins and 6 losses as they tried to win the second half pennant. Tri-City was a game back at the All-Star break. Vancouver, meanwhile, had 5 wins and 8 losses and were 2 games back at the break. Spokane was in last place in the North Division, but the Indians are already going to the playoffs as they already have won the first half pennant. Now, over in the South Division, the Hillsboro Hops were in first place with a record of 9 wins and 4 losses. Now, Hillsboro already won the first half pennant, and they're still going strong in the second half, at least in the early stages of the second half. So definitely a strong season so far for the Hillsboro Hops in just their second year in the Oregon market. They had actually moved from Yakima, Washington to Hillsboro, Oregon back in 2013. And actually, Hillsboro was in town in Vancouver a couple of weeks back. The Hops won 3 of the 5 games played in Vancouver, just impressing the Canadians with their pitching and also their timely hitting. And I actually had a chance to speak with Hillsboro broadcaster Rich Burke, getting his thoughts on the Hillsboro season so far and how the team is being received in that market.
This is KPW with CJSF Radio, and we're here with Rich Burke, the broadcaster of the Hillsboro Hops, a minor league affiliate of the Arizona Diamondbacks. So, Rich, pleasure to have you here. Tell us a bit about the Hillsboro season so far. You guys won the first half pennant, so what's gone right for you guys?
We've pitched and played defense really well, and we've had just enough hitting in the right spots. We've obviously hit really well in the series here in Vancouver, but that hadn't been the case all year long. Case in point, last weekend in Eugene, we clinched the South Division flag with back-to-back 3-2 wins, and we need a lot of help from Eugene to win those games, and we got it. I think the biggest thing for us has been our starting pitching. It's been so good. And if you're consistently getting 6 and 7 innings out of your starting pitchers, it's a huge bonus. And going back to last season, we started off, 2013 was the first year of the franchise. And our first 33 games, we won only 8. Now, it doesn't have anything to do with it being a first-year franchise because all the players, there's so much turnover at this level anyway, and the players are provided by the Diamondbacks organization. And they'd been in Yakima, Washington for a long time before that, so nothing to do with it being a first-year franchise, I don't think, unless there was something residual about it that I haven't thought of. But won only 8 of the first 33 games. Since then, since July 18th, 2013, the Hops have the best record in the Northwest League over the last 85 games, 4 games better than anybody else. And that's saying something because it seems like the Vancouver Canadians are obviously very good.
Now, you mentioned, of course, Rich, this being the second season in Hillsborough for the franchise. What's been the buzz like in the city?
It's been really good ever since day one because you talked about the branding, the Hillsborough Hops logo and all that. That's been great. The color scheme is great. The ballpark is fantastic. And we did pretty well. We did really well in our first season, 2013. And for those who don't know, Hillsborough is a suburb of Portland. And it's the 22nd largest market in the United States. I think there's 1.7 million people in the area. We're on the west side of town, a pretty affluent side of town. They call it the Silicon Forest because we have companies like Intel out there. And so the area was ready for something like this. But it's amazing. As well as we did, there's so many people I talked to that said, gosh, I heard that the ballpark is so great. It was so much fun to go to a game, but I never went last year. And now this year, those people who had heard about it from all their friends who hadn't gotten a chance to go, now they're coming out. So our ticket sales are even better. And I think that's going to be true. I think there's going to be a 4 or 5 year period where it really ramps up and more people hear about what a great time is. And I think we had 2 or 3 sellouts last year. There'll probably be 6 or 7 sellouts this year. And it wouldn't surprise me if by, say, 2016, there might be 15 sellouts.
Sounds like baseball fever is on the rise out there in Hillsborough. Just going back a little bit, you guys have added former All-Stars, Major League All-Stars Mark Grace and Doug Drabeck onto the coaching staff. How do you think these guys have, what kind of impact they've made on the club?
Well, it made a big impact. And that's not just because Doug Drabeck's a National League Cy Young Award winner or Mark Grace had more hits than any other major leaguer during the decade of the 1990s. It's because they both present what they know so well. Lots of guys know certain things, they have a feel for things, but either it's not conscious or if it is, they don't know how to present it to players. Both these guys know why they were successful and know how to translate that to terms that their players can understand. I think they both understand, too, that they're not going to teach everybody the same way. There's no cookie-cutter way to teach anybody. You might have a guy who's a slap hitter and a speedster, and you might have somebody who likes to jack the ball out of the ballpark. And there's different things you tell those guys. Mark Grace understands that. Same thing with Doug Drabeck. He wasn't an overpowering pitcher, so it really it fits for him to coach a guy like Ryan Doran or Nick Baker. That they're not overpowering, but they can get the job done. And when you have a guy like Mason McCullough who's hit 100 miles an hour on the gun, Drabeck knows how to work with those guys as well.
Great stuff. We're with Rich Burke, the broadcaster of the Hillsborough Hops. Final question here, Rich. Now, tell us a little bit about yourself in terms of your broadcasting background. What got you involved in the broadcasting industry and things like that?
I grew up wanting to be a baseball player, like most of us did, and it wasn't until junior college when my junior college baseball coach down in Southern California, a guy by the name of John Seeley, suggested to me that I attend Pacific University in Forest Grove, Oregon, and be the voice of the Boxers, play baseball there, do play-by-play for their football and basketball teams, and it was like a light bulb went on above my head. Wait a minute, broadcasting. I never thought of getting into that. That'd be interesting. I grew up listening to Vin Scully in Southern California, listening to the Dodgers, hanging on every word he said, not because I thought I'd be in his seat someday, but because I was cheering for the Dodgers. And so when he told me that's a good idea. So it's exactly what happened. And then I got out of school and went to work in a tiny Central Oregon town called Bend. and did the play-by-play there, and was not very good, but got better as the years went along. And now, along with my work with the Hillsborough Hops, I do TV play-by-play, a lot of stuff with Root Sports, and nowadays that they don't have the Pac-12 contract anymore, I do play-by-play on TV for the Pac-12 networks.
Fantastic. Once again, thank you so much, Rich, for your time, and obviously good luck to Hillsborough the rest of the season, and we'll see what happens in the playoffs.
Okay, KP, thanks a lot. It'd be fun to come back up here and play Vancouver, because that means we'd be in the Northwest League Championship Series. We'd need to win 2 out of 3 on our first round to be able to face a North Division opponent, and it'd be nice to be able to face the Canadians.
All right, awesome. Thanks so much.
All right, thanks a lot. Absolutely.
So a big thank you to Rich Burke for the interview, and also a special thanks to the Vancouver Canadians for providing me with a press pass to get access to Burke. The Canadians, meanwhile, have been struggling on the field in the second half of the season. Now, they just lost 3 of 5 in their series at Boise prior to the All-Star break, blowing a pair of 7-run leads against the Hawks. Back on July 30th, for instance, Vancouver led Boise 7-0, but went on to lose that game 8-7 that night. And then 2 nights later, the Canadians jumped out to a 9-2 lead, but they managed to lose that game by a score of 11-10. So not a good series at all for Boise. And actually, I think historically the Canadians have not done well in Boise. It is like a 13-hour bus ride from what I remember, from Vancouver to Boise. Although they were already on the road just before they got to Boise, so maybe the long travel, the distance, I don't know. They just don't seem to do well against the Boise Hawks, and this year has been no exception. Now tonight, Vancouver is in Pasco, Washington to play the finale of a 3-game series against the division rival Tri-City Dust Devils. This also wraps up a lengthy 2-week road trip for the Vancouver Canadians, who haven't been home for a very long time. Then the same 2 teams, that's the Vancouver Canadians and the Tri-City Dust Devils, now the same 2 teams will then come to Vancouver for another 3 games beginning on Sunday night. And after tonight, Vancouver will have only 22 more games left in the regular season to try and make up some ground in the divisional race to try and make the playoffs. Vancouver, of course, is the 3-time defending Northwest League champion, so definitely you would think that they would be trying to find a way to get to the playoffs in the second half of the season. Although, being an 8-team league, I guess it would be kind of interesting to see other teams make it, just so that it's a little bit more interesting. Obviously Vancouver has already won it all the last 3 seasons, and actually they've made the playoffs for the last 4 years in a row. So actually that makes me wonder who hasn't made the playoffs since in these last 4 seasons, because Vancouver's always there. Maybe let somebody else try and win it this year, I don't know, but anyway, just 22 more games left after tonight. So that's actually only 3 weeks left before the regular season ends on September 1st. So should be exciting, and definitely if you are interested in listening to baseball like being described I guess online, or I guess on the radio really, but in this case online. If you like, just to listen to baseball play-by-play without the picture, definitely a good league to follow, because all of their games are available online to be listened to. You can just go to the Northwest League website at northwestleague.com, and you'll be able to catch all of the games, road or away broadcaster doing the play-by-play for the game. And personally, I always like to listen to being in Vancouver, I always like to listen to the opposing broadcasting or the opposing broadcaster do the play-by-play, just to get a different a different feel, a different just listen to a different style of broadcasting, because the Americans, they do have a different way that they do the play-by-play, and it's always interesting to listen to that. But anyway, for more scores and the most up-to-date standings in the Northwest League, you can check out northwestleague.com. bc.com. Time now for some public service announcements, and there's always some free events at the local Burnaby Public Library. So it's just a matter of knowing what events are happening, what workshops are happening. So I'm just gonna give you a list of what's happening in August at the Public Library here in Burnaby. Now, on Thursday, August 14th, from 1:30 to 3:30 p.m., the Metrotown branch of the Burnaby Public Library is having a job interview, skills, and self-marketing workshop for those that are looking for, to sharpen their interview skills as well as knowing how to market themselves when they're looking for a job. Basically, this free workshop is being given by Mosaic, and again, this is being held on Thursday, August the 14th at the Metrotown branch from 1:30 p.m. to 3:30. And this workshop will help you to be prepared before and during the interview to reduce the stress, to review common questions and sample answers most likely to appear during the interview process. And it also teaches you to or helps you, I guess, to interact with interviewers with knowledgeable answers for the desired job. And if you'd like to attend this free workshop, you do need to register. You can contact Mosaic, and basically you can call them at 604-438-8214 extension 112. That's 604-438-8214 extension 112. You can also email them for more information at let me read out the email address. It's fbilikano@mosaicbc.com. So let me just read that back out, because it can be tricky with letters and numbers and all that stuff. But it's F for Frank, B for Bravo, ILIKAN for Nancy, O@mosaicbc.com. And Mosaic is spelled M for Mother, OS for Sam, AIC. But definitely you can also find this information on the Burnaby Public Library website. And then on Saturday, August the 16th, at the Tommy Douglas branch, there is a knit together I guess not a workshop, but just like a little get together where you can go and enjoy a couple of hours of knitting and stitching and chit chatting with like-minded people. They're actually an informal, friendly group, and everyone is welcome. All ages and all skill levels. Bring your needles, bring your scissors, and your fabric supplies, and get started. There's actually a limited number of needles and supplies available for those who want to give knitting a try. Tea will be provided, but feel free to bring your own cookies to share. That's optional. Knit Together is a free event. Registration is not required. Again, the August date for this is Saturday, August the 16th from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. And that's, again, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. That's at the Tommy Douglas branch of the Burnaby Public Library. That's the August session, again, is the 16th. If you are interested in future sessions, they have one on Saturday, September 13th. Saturday, October the 18th, and Saturday, November the 15th. So those are the dates for the upcoming sessions for Knit Together. On Tuesday, August the 19th, at the Metrotown branch of the library, there is a workshop called Recycling in Burnaby. And if you're unsure about food scraps and what to do with milk cartons, you can learn more about the city's expanded residential recycling program and the new materials that are now accepted. You can come to this recycling information session presented by staff from the Burnaby Engineering Department. This is a free drop-in program. Again, that would be on Tuesday, August the 19th from 7 p.m. to 8 for an hour. And finally, on Wednesday, August the 20th, at the Metrotown branch of the library, there is another job search and career tour workshop. If you're looking for work, or if you like to have a career change, you can come in for a free tour and learn how to use the job hunting resources available at the library, learn about the hidden job market, how to research companies, explore careers, and find employment interview, cover letter, and resume resources. These tours are drop-in with no advance registration required. Again, this will be happening at the Metrotown branch of the Burnaby Public Library on Wednesday, August the 20th from 2 to 3 p.m. So just a few events that are free and happening in in the Burnaby Public Library. I guess I never thought about knitting, but maybe that's something that would be cool to check out on August the 16th. Yeah, so just lots of things you can do, and obviously these things that I just mentioned, it's just a short list of events and workshops and sessions, but there's tons and tons of things to do. Just have to kind of pay attention to what's happening, what's going on, and a lot of these things, as mentioned, are free, so that's just something that you can check out if you're interested. Time now for the This Week in BC Minor League Sports Player of the Week, or Performer of the Week, we will call it. This will definitely have to go to Langley Blaze first baseman Dakota Curry for being a clutch player in his team's run to the championship of the BC Premier Baseball League. Dakota Curry, again, as mentioned at the top of the program, hit a 2-run home run to send Langley to the championship game. And then the following day hit a 2-run double to win it for the Langley Blaze. And so the Blaze are the 2014 BC Premier Baseball League champions. So our Performer of the Week this week would be Dakota Curry from the Langley Blaze. And that's going to do it for this week's program. You have been listening to This Week in BC Minor League Sports. My name is KP Wee, and stay tuned for next week's program. We'll be covering more sports action. Again, we're already in the middle of August, and that means September is coming up very soon. There's going to be tons of hockey action, SFU athletics action coming up in the next month. So definitely very exciting if you're a sports fan that enjoys local sports. And we'll talk to you again next time.